Cynthia Galarza. All right, the recording's on. That's amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to let Damien and Cynthia take it away.
Thank you. And thanks for letting us be a part of this event. We are going to do a brief presentation in regards to financial aid. And we do ask that if we can go ahead and save the questions till after the presentation, and then Cynthia and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that the students may have. Okay. And with that, we'll get started. Second here, let me pull up the presentation. So 1 second here.
That's a new view, I think. Correct, Damien?
A new view?
In the background, is that the new building?
Yes.
Yay. We were on a call with Tony earlier, and we know that he said that he was enjoying it.
Yes, and we'll go over our new address too as well at the end of the presentation there.
Oh, very cool. Awesome.
Okay. Now I'm a little new to all this technology, so forgive me if it takes a little bit of time.
No, totally.
To get it going. I thought it was going to be on one screen, but it appears to be on another. So let's go ahead and get started.
Oh.
All right, and if everyone could let me know or just give me a okay if you can see it.
We can see it, Damien.
Okay, thank you. All right, so once again, my name is Damien Mejia. I'm the Financial Aid Advising Coordinator here at Cal State LA. Also with me is Cynthia Galarza. She's a Financial Aid Advisor. And we are going to be go ahead and presenting to you guys. And like I said, if we have some questions, we'll go over those after. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions. So we're excited to share with you and to our knowledge that we do have. Okay, so our presentation is called Navigating Financial Aid. And we'll start now. All right, so there is a financial aid calendar. So what's very important to everyone, right? In order to qualify for financial aid, you have to apply, okay? And there's two ways you can apply. You can apply with the free application for federal student aid known as the FAFSA, or you can apply using the California DREAM Act application. Now, one of the questions would be, well, which one do I select? Well, for students who are US citizens or eligible non-citizens, you do want to go ahead and fill out the free application for federal student aid. If you fall under the undocumented population, then you would want to go ahead and submit a California DREAM Act application. If you're unsure, please visit the office or talk to someone that we can help direct you. It's very important because sometimes students will fill out one application that they may not qualify for, and that could tend to kind of create some problems downstream for you guys. So if you're unsure, make sure you go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll let you know how you can reach out to us at the end of the presentation. Very important, this application does open, both applications actually open October 1st of each year. So for the 22-23 school year, it's very important that you start filing that application now. Because the priority deadline will be here sooner than we know it, which is March 2nd of 2022. So very important for students to make sure that you adhere to those deadlines. The application is open as of now. You do have to apply for financial aid every year. So very important. It's not a one-time thing. So every year you're going to be attending, you want to make sure that you apply for financial aid. Even if you are possibly may not be going to school next year, fill it out anyways. You never know. So go ahead and start filling out those applications. We will be having FAFSA workshops and DREAM application workshops coming up in the near future as well. For the dates, they are on our website that students can go ahead and take a look at that and sign up for our website through our website for these workshops. All right, so once you fill out the application, you get what's called an expected family contribution, known as EFC. I'm sure most of you have kind of heard of that term thrown before. And what it is, it's expected family contribution. So how do we get that, or how does that happen? So this information is the information you report on both either your FAFSA or DREAM application is used to determine this EFC. Now, the EFC is used as a tool to measure kind of your family's financial or your financial strength, what you would be expected or your family would be expected to contribute towards your education for that year. Okay. Once in a disclosure here, it doesn't represent the amount you will pay for college. Typically, the higher your EFC is, the less grant or need-based scholarships and aid you will receive. And we'll go over that too a little bit more in detail as we go along in the presentation. So how do you get financial need, or how is financial need determined? So financial need is determined by taking the cost of attendance minus your expected family contribution is equal to your financial need. So we're going to use some very round numbers here. If the cost of attendance is determined to be $10,000 for the year, and your expected family contribution is $1,000, then your financial need or your need-based aid that you qualify for would be equivalent to $9,000 worth of need-based aid. Okay. So that's how we kind of calculate your financial need. You take the cost of attendance, you subtract your expected family contribution or EFC, and that determines your financial need. What types of aid are available for students? Well, there's grants. Now, grants are aid that does not need to be paid back. Okay. On the federal side, there's federal Pell Grants for the 21-22 school year. The maximum amount a student can qualify for a Pell Grant is $6,495. The amounts for the 22-23 school year are not out yet, which they will be towards the beginning of the year. There's also the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, which is also falls under federal aid as well. That's available to students. There is the State University Grant that is available to both students who are FAFSA and DREAM application filers. Now, for the State University Grant, it is institutional aid, and the aid is very limited. So in order to qualify for the State University Grant, you do have to meet several qualifications. One of those being meeting the FAFSA and DREAM application priority deadline, which is March 2nd, 2022. And also, if your file is selected for anything like verification or there's additional documentation that is needed for students to provide to the university in order for you to have your file complete, you do have to meet the May 1st deadline, document deadline. So the May 1st document deadline as well. And then there's a few other factors for the State University Grant that you would have to meet as well. But those are the two biggies that you want to go ahead and meet. Also too, as well, if you do fall under the AB 540 status, you do want to make sure that your AB 540 affidavit is on file with the admissions office prior to that May 1st deadline. There's also Cal Grants, Cal Grant A and Cal Grant B. Both of those are awarded to students who are both FAFSA and AB 540 students, as well as, excuse me, the OP grants as well. Now, there's also student loans that are available for students as well. There is the federal subsidized direct loan and the federal unsubsidized loan. Now, those are both federal aid, so students who fall under the AB 540 status would not qualify for those two loans, as well as the Parent Plus loan. Now, the subsidized and unsubsidized, they are pretty much the same loan. The interest rate is the same. The repayment period is the same. To qualify, you have to be in 6 units or at least a half-time student in order for those loans to disperse. The main difference between the two is the subsidized loan is a need-based loan. So remember when we talked about need, you have to have need in order to qualify for that subsidized loan. And the way the interest accrues for the subsidized loan is a little different than the unsub. So for example, if you have a subsidized loan, as long as you're in school or you're enrolled at least half time, you're not being charged any interest on the subsidized loan. The unsubsidized loan, you are starting to accrue interest from the moment the loan is dispersed. So that's the main difference between the two. There's also Parent Plus loans. These are federal loans as well. They are credit-based for students who, have maybe grants and loans or don't have grants at all, and the loans aren't going to be able to cover everything. Your parents can go and apply for a Parent Plus loan to kind of help subsidize any additional cost that you may incur during the year. There's also private loans, and there's also dream loans as well. The dream loan is available for students who are in the AB 540 status. Now, the funds are limited, so if you are awarded a dream loan, you will be notified by the financial aid office if you qualify for it. You would then, if you do want to take advantage of that, you would have to accept it and move forward, and you would receive direction on how to do that as well. In addition to that, other aid that may be available for students is federal work study. Once again, that's a federal program. And then there's outside scholarships and internal scholarships as well that you would want to go ahead and inquire within. It doesn't hurt to always apply for scholarships. A lot of times students don't think they may qualify, but you never know. So the answer is always no until you apply. So I definitely recommend that students apply for scholarships. All right, so there is a financial aid lifetime. So financial aid doesn't last forever. So it's very important to remember and to be very strategic on when you're taking your classes and you're making sure you pass your classes, because you don't want to run out of financial aid. So Cal grants are limited to 4 years of eligibility. So very important to remember. If you are planning on graduating in 4 years, you will have to take an average of 15 units per semester in order to graduate in 4 years. Pell grants are limited to 6 years of eligibility, which is equivalent to 12 semesters. So Pell grants do last a little bit longer. In addition to Pell grants, there are also limits on federal loans too. So there's both aggregate limits for federal loans, and there's also what they call the subsidized usage limit applies too. So you could, you have aggregate loan limits where you could only borrow so much over your undergraduate career. And also too, you could only use a subsidized loan for so long as well, which is typically about 6 years or 150% of the program for a subsidized loan. Now, although you may qualify for financial aid, right? You have the need, you have the aid awarded to you. You also have to make sure that you're making satisfactory academic progress. And this is very important because the Department of Education requires that students who are receiving financial aid are making satisfactory academic progress. And we do check your satisfactory academic progress every semester. We measure 3 areas. The first is the minimum GPA requirement, which is a 2.0. This is a cumulative measurement, which means that it takes your whole academic career. And it's looking at that. It's not just looking at the prior semester. Okay. So undergraduate students have to have a cumulative GPA of 2.0 in order to meet this measurement. The second measurement is going to be your completion rate. So you have to be passing your classes at a 75% completion rate. Now, how do we get the completion rate? Is we take the amount of units that you have completed and we divide it by the amount of attempted units. This is also cumulative as well. Now, attempted units include W's, F's, incompletes, repeat courses. So it's very important, even though, if you withdraw from a course or it's may not hit your GPA, but it's going to hurt your completion rate. So it's very important when you're thinking about withdrawing from courses and things of that sort and passing your courses that you keep that in mind. And the last and final component that we measure is what we call maximum time frame. So the Department of Education requires you to complete your degree within 150% of the published units required. So typically for undergraduate students, it's 120 units in order for you to graduate with a degree. There are a couple of degrees that are maybe a few more units here and there. And how do we get the 180? We take the 120, we multiply that by 1.5, which gives you the total of 180 attempted units. So you have to get that degree within that 180 attempted units. And once again, this is also cumulative, so it counts courses that are Fs, withdrawals, once again, incompletes, repeat courses. All of those units are considered transfer units. All of that is included in that maximum time frame. So very important that you maintain satisfactory academic progress. Now, we do notify students every semester what their status is. Very important that you read the communications that are sent to you from the financial aid office. We do send our communications to your Cal State LA email address as well. So you want to make sure that you're constantly checking that and getting the latest information, because it's very important, because not only is it going to have your status, but it's also going to have deadlines. It's going to have a lot of information for you there as well. So what you can do is you can check your Golden Eagle Territory account, known as your GET. If you go to the communications portion or my to-do list, there may have some information there for you if you have to turn in stuff for financial aid. You do have a communication center as well. Our communications are sent there, and you can, view a copy of them there as well. So if you're looking for your awards, where you can go to and get, or if you're looking for information, you can go to self-service, go to view financial aid. You would go ahead and look at the year. This is a little older slide, but you want to look at the 2022 year. Next year, you'd want to look at the 2023 year. It always goes by the year that's ending. So this year will be ending the year in 2022. Next year will be 2023. This is how you view your awards. If you look at the award summary here, this is for a student. Now the awards are listed as a yearly award. So when you see the awards listed, they are awarded for the year, and they are awarded based on full-time enrollment. So grants, very important to realize that grants are, the amount is based on your enrollment. So if we look at it here, this student was awarded a Cal Grant B stipend for the year at $1,672. This is based on full-time. So the way to kind of look at this is that you would want to kind of cut this in half, and you would say half of it is for fall and half of it is for spring, provided that you are enrolled full-time. Okay. So the way to look at this award is, if you were enrolled full-time, meeting satisfactory academic progress, you would be receiving $836 for fall and $836 for spring. Your Cal Grant B tuition and fees, it's the same thing. It's based on full-time enrollment. So, and you would cut it in half. You would get $2871 for fall and $2871 for spring. Same thing with the Pell Grant and the Federal Work Study program as well. Now, grants are automatically accepted for you. You don't have to do anything. Loans, you will have to go in and accept yourself. Okay. Very important here is to check your to-do list. We talked about that a little bit. You want to go ahead and click on the right-hand side where it says to-do list. You click more for the view. If your file is selected for verification, these are the documents you will be needing for the 22-23 school year. So if you are selected for a process called verification, what is verification? Some of us get selected for it. What it is basically the Department of Education requires the school to verify the income you reported on your FAFSA is consistent with the information you reported with the IRS. And two, we have to validate your household size. Sorry about that. It skipped a little bit on me. One other thing is we're going to be looking at the 2020 year for income information. So in order to documents needed for you to clear your verification, you will need to clear with a verification worksheet. We will need to have you submit, if you are a tax filer or your parents are tax filers, a 2020 tax transcript. If you're not tax filers, but you did work and you weren't required to file, you can submit your W-2s for 2020. Once again, AB 540 students, don't forget your affidavit to submit that to the admissions office if you haven't already, to make sure that that is handled by, and everything you want to be submitted by May 1st of 2022. Okay. How do you view your document status? So when you click on your to-do list, this screen is going to pop up. And if you look on the left-hand side, it has a blue hyperlink there that tells you what the item is. It has a due date on there, and it shows you the status. Initiated means that it hasn't been turned in. It's still in an initiated status, okay? Once you turn in your documents, that initiated status will turn to a received. That's how you will know that the financial aid office has your documents, okay? And once your documents have been completed and your file is complete, the item will be removed from your to-do list. So this is a great way of checking rather than having to either call or to come in. This is one of the ways you can check. Obviously, if it's been a while or there's something that, hey, my status hasn't changed, then yeah, definitely give us a call or come on in. But this is a great way to kind of be able to check for yourself on what the progress is, okay? Financial aid office, we're very happy to report that we are now open for in-person services. Our offices are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located in the brand new Student Services Building. We are on the second floor in Suite 230 or 2330, formerly known, I believe, as the Physical Science Building for us that have been here for a while. In addition to our in-person services, you can still submit your financial aid documents online using our online submission form. We do have limited virtual appointments available with advisors. Those are only open on Fridays. They do go fast because there's not many appointments available. If for any reason you're unable to come in or schedule an appointment with your advisor online, we do still have the advising request form available for students. Please allow at least 3 to 5 days for a response, and those are business days. And times can fluctuate and vary depending on the season. So if it's 2 weeks before class, more than likely that wait time is going to be a little bit longer, okay? We also have an important deadlines site too on our website. So all these are on the home page that you can click on. So it's very important that you get familiarized with this. Our phone number is located here too as well. Our phones are available. The best way to contact right now would be to either come in or call via phone. That would be the quickest way to be served and to get your questions answered. Okay. And I think that concludes my presentation. Now let's definitely open it up for questions. I think we probably will have a lot.
Looks like we have one in the chat. On the topic of the GET portal, about a month or two ago, I had accepted 2 of the grants and declined the loans. However, despite applying to direct deposit, I've not received any further information on when I would receive the grants. Is there another step I have overlooked? This is by Miss Alvarado. Damien or
okay.
Cynthia?
Sure. That's a great question. And so grants, once again, are automatically accepted. If you haven't had any information, I would definitely come in or call to see what's the status on that, just because that's a very specific question. Definitely would come in and see somebody.
Okay, and where can they make an appointment again if they want to make it virtually?
Sure, they would go to our website, which is calstatela.edu/financial aid. On the homepage, there it says meet with the financial aid advisor. But once again, appointments are very limited because we are now open for in-person services. So their appointments are only available on Friday, and they typically go relatively quick because there's very, very limited appointments. If you're unable to come in, give us a call.
Okay, well, Cynthia
Yeah.
also added in the little website link. Oh, you're welcome, Andrea. Okay.
I do have a question. I did want to add something to that. Sorry, a little tongue-tied. Andrea, you can always fill out an intake form. Those are forwarded to your specific advisor, and that intake form, they can take a look at it for you. And if they need you to to ask more questions or come in, they'll let you know via that information as well. So I know some students are not coming in to walk in just yet, or they may be off site and not able to come into the school. So we do still have that option available. And then our walk-in and drop-in hours are different than the pandemic, Wendy. They our office is open from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. So they can walk in at any time, Monday through Friday, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So the intake form is actually in the same link that I sent, the website link that I sent up. You would just go ahead and click on the advising request form. That's where you would fill in. So it's kind of like asking a question. Those do take a little bit longer than if you were to pick up the phone and call, or if you were to walk in. But typically our advisors would respond within 2 to 3 business days, if not sooner.
And also to be very specific if you do fill out an advising request form, because that will help expedite your answer.
I do have a question of my own. Is there a tab on your website for scholarships that students can look up and see if they meet the requirements for certain scholarships? I unfortunately didn't attend Cal State LA. I went to Cal State Long Beach for my undergraduate degree. But they always had scholarships on the ASI rather than the financial aid or the financial office. So I'm just wondering, where could students go for that?
So for scholarships on the link that I put on the chat, there is a tab on that link that is for general scholarships. So what I encourage
Okay.
students to do is to always look at, they're gonna look at that information. However, there are scholarships that are available for students that are major specific. So for those scholarships, you would need to go ahead and follow up with the specific college that they're attending. So they always want to do general scholarships, and then they explore also the major specific scholarships. So that way they're trying to access as much funding as they possibly can. Our general scholarships, there is a application that is available for our continuing students. They are available beginning typically in March, and it's available for a month that they have to go ahead. I encourage students to go in and just kind of take a look at it, even though it's not March. This year was between March 1st and April 12th. But the criteria is pretty much the same, so that way you can kind of start getting all the information that you need prepared, just because you will be asked to get a letter of recommendation, and so that way they can kind of work on that in advance. That specific general scholarship application is one application that goes to all the general scholarships. So the really cool thing about that is that they're not applying for all different types of scholarships. They just fill out that one application, and then all the general scholarships are looked at. And so whichever the student qualifies for, then at that point in time, they are determined whether they are put into that information, and then if they're awarded. So it's really nice because it is just one application for general scholarships. But
Yeah, that's a lot easier than my system. I
so
had to
much easier.
research.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that's really cool. But then you want to look into the major specific scholarships as well, because those are another opportunity for students to look at.
And
Yeah,
external
and it looks like we
scholarships
also
too
have
as well.
some, oh, pardon,
Sorry.
external scholarships as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
definitely.
problem, no problem. I'm just noticing some links led here by our student mentors, Alexis Obina and Mario Aguello. And that looks like there's the foundation. You can find some scholarships. It looks like Mario also just tapped in a lot of links that you could find on the Cal State LA financial aid scholarships. And so I'm super happy we're all working as a team. This sounds really great. And it's so much easier. Your guys' system is so cool. You just type it in and then boom, it like pops up like Google. I had to do all my own research to find the scholarships if I wanted one in Cal State Long Beach. Okay, do we have any other further questions?
Yes, I actually do have a question. My mother, she works at a grocery store that's protected by the United Food Workers Union, and I was able to get a scholarship through them. I received the $2,500 scholarship, but I never got any update on whether it was sent to the school or whether it goes to my tuition. Who do I talk to regarding that?
So if you have an award letter, on your award letter, it should give a process as to who you need to forward the information to on their end if you need to apply any information to the person that you are receiving. So let's say they needed to know what school to send the information to. So you always want to follow up whoever awarded you the scholarship first, so that way they have the information as opposed, so that way they can go ahead and forward the information. And then we also have, if you walk into our office, we do have a scholarship coordinator who can go ahead and assist you with that as well. And her name is Veronica. And you can, when you come into our office, you can inquire to say that you have questions about a specific scholarship, bring in your information that you have available, so that way it could be reviewed and looked at and assisted. And that way we can know whether it's something that's going to be sent to you specifically, or if it's going to be sent to the school, and how to
Amazing.
get that information.
Awesome. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know. And along with that, for the walk-in hours, we can go there and reapply for FAFSA, because I heard that it opened again.
Yes, definitely. We do have between the hours of 8 to 5. We have some computer stations here. So if you go in, if you don't have a computer, or if you want to bring in your laptop, we can go ahead and have individuals, representatives assist you with questions that you may have as you are completing your FAFSA.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, super cool questions. I love how we're all working together. Oh, it looks like Mario also found another one for Hispanic Scholarship Fund. It's found on the hsf.net website. It's an external Hispanic scholarship fund, so anyone can be open to that. Oh, yes. So how is the new office location, Cynthia and Damien?
Well, the new office is located at the Student Services Building. We are on the second floor. It's the old, I guess, physical science building. We've been open here since October 11th. And the building, it's really nice. You guys got to come on in and check it out. It's quite an upgrade from where we were before. And there's a lot of new things. One thing that is new for students as well is that we have what they call a virtual line, which means that there's a QR code that you would go ahead and click on. It's on our website, it's on our building, where it kind of checks you in line, and you will go ahead and once you check in, once they're ready to see you, if you use your phone, it'll send you a text letting you know what window to go to, or your name will pop up on the screen, similar kind of to like the DMV. There's a student lounge that's outside of our suite that you can go ahead and, like Cynthia mentioned, you can bring your laptop. You can, do your homework. You can do your FAFSA out there. It's quite nice.
It's still a little bit empty just because students haven't quite discovered it. So if you're studying for midterms, you can definitely come. The couches are really comfortable. Everything's new. We had a couple of students setting up some goodie bags. They kind of took shop there, and they were setting up some goodie bags. It was nice to see students come in and kind of move the movement once again. So it's definitely great for you to enjoy right now. It's not crazy busy. So maybe stake out some spots for the future.
If you're on campus, come on in and visit, find out the location. So when you're back on, or if you need some help or some questions, you know where to go.
Yeah, that sounds really good because I know it's midterm season for most of y'all. So you might want to study on campus if you're a hybrid student, or if you're on campus student, you're going to need places to study. And this sounds a little bit nicer than the place I had. My financial aid office in Long Beach was kind of like a more depressing Disneyland ride. We were all herded by iron gates, and we had to wait to talk to someone and pray that we were going to make it to class. It was, yeah, this is a lot better. This sounds really cool.
And there's
Gosh, you guys
there's
should
windows all over, so the views are nice. We're across the hall from the one-stop financial. So if you need to handle anything with the student financial services area, they're across the hall. Admissions is on the first floor, records is on the third floor. So admissions and records are on the first floor. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. There's a lot of, once you get here, you don't have to go very far to get services.
Well, that's great. Oh, looks like Nathan has a question. It says, where can the new building be located, near or at?
Near. Nathan, have you been to the campus yet? Okay.
Yes.
So the best way to describe it, I mean, I know where lot A is, that rooftop parking of lot A. There's, are those soccer? I haven't been to campus exactly.
Yeah, I believe they are.
Yeah, it's like they have these soccer things erected on that platform. And there's some tables and chairs where you can sit to eat lunch or whatnot as well. But that's the building that they're talking about. It's a huge building. If you know where lot A is, go the opposite direction of Salazar Hall, and you're basically looking at this building.
Right. It's a 8-story building, and it's kind of diagonally away from the old administration building, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
Or someone did put here, it's right across from the biological science building, not towards the main walkway, but towards the back of that building.
Right. Kind of actually Salazar Hall, more north of Salazar. More north of Salazar Hall. So I was going to also say, for all of the students on the call, thank you so much, because now we're going to look to you to help spread this information to your other Gear Up Scholar colleagues. You know, this information is really important, and it's nothing like being early. We know that you get a lot of time to do FAFSA in terms of, you know, it opens October 1st and you have all the way until the spring, but it's nothing like being early, especially if there's any documents that are difficult to attain, if there are any little mistakes that need to be changed. Being early is best.
And it's because everyone's not really thinking about completing their FAFSA right now. There's a lot more flexibility with our staff to be able to assist you one-on-one. So definitely right now is the best time, because we're able to dedicate more time to the students because there's just not as big of an influx.
Exactly. Oh, this is a great question, Pamela. My question is, are we supposed to renew our FAFSA or start a new FAFSA form for 2022-23?
You're supposed to renew your FAFSA. So when you renew your FAFSA, it will automatically populate all of your old information except for the finance. So it's going to populate your name, your address, all the prior, like your parents' information, as far as like their socials and their date of birth, if they already had all that information. So it's a lot faster for you to renew it than to start a new FAFSA form.
Mm-hmm. And now's go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Now's also a good time to start requesting documents. If you were selected for verification the prior year or so, it doesn't hurt to start gathering your 2020 tax information, so that when if you are selected, you can just have it there to turn in. If not, you can shred it. You will have that information. It's a lot more convenient and easier to kind of start gathering that now rather than during tax season in late March or early April, when things are a little bit busier. Get your paperwork together now. So if you are selected, you can just go ahead and turn it in and get that into us. And
I did want to mention one thing for all the the male students that we have. Selective service was waived for this year. It was also waived for last year, but we do not know if it's going to be waived for the following year. So whether you're completing a FAFSA form or an AB, a DREAM application, you will still need to register for selective service. So if you are above the age of, if you're 18 years of age or older, you should be registering for selective service. If you are an AB 540 student, you are not able to register online, you will have to actually submit that via mail, and that process can take between 2 to 3 months. So if you have any friends or students who haven't registered for selective service that are AB 540 students, you definitely want to mention that to them, because it's better for them to do it now. A lot of the times when we start the new award processing and students get checklisted, that doesn't happen until the end of March. And unfortunately, they may not have all the information they need by the May 1st deadline, just because they have to mail that in to selective service. And that process sometimes can take 6 to 8 weeks. And then they have to wait for that to come back. So for those students, if you know anybody that is an AB 540 student that is male, you may want to encourage them to register for selective service. They don't have to, but if they do not register, they will not be eligible for aid. So I know that it's the draft essentially, and a lot of the times that is a sensitive issue, but it's if you're not registered, then you won't be able to receive aid. Like I said, the last 2 years that has been waived. However, that may not be the case for 22, 23. So we do encourage students to kind of take care of that ahead of time.
Okay, well, thank you, Andrea. Thanks for coming in. Okay, do we have any more questions?
These were super awesome questions, folks. While we have our amazing experts on campus here, and let's ask any other questions. Leaders and mentors, I know we asked you to be on this call. Is there anything else that we can think of, since it is being recorded and there will be students checking this out who weren't able to make it due to class and work? Are there any other things that we have come across in our financial aid, little hiccups or things that we didn't quite understand? Maybe we know now, but we can ask the question for the sake of getting it answered while we have this time carved out. All righty, forever hold our peace, Fernando. I know that if you're still on the call, you had a situation that was something that other students may, in the presentation, I know that you talked about some different things about full-time status and things like that. Was there any discussion about SAP? Is there anything that we can say, or is that too specific and it's just better for students to come in if they have a question about that?
Well, we did talk about SAP in detail,
Okay.
about what the 3 qualifications are when we notify students, and things of that sort. But the easiest way to worry about SAP is if you pass all your classes, then you don't have nothing to worry about.
Right, exactly. Which is why Gear Up Scholars, we ask for those grade checks. It's not to scare you. It is to support you and help you speak with your teachers, get the tutoring, pair you with the right resources ahead of time. So yes, as long as we get those good grades, C's are better. Very good. All right, everyone. So if there are no more questions and no other feedback that anyone else can think of, then that will conclude our presentation. And Ariana, I'll let you take us out.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much for Damien and Cynthia for educating us and continuing our knowledge and helping us grow and understand what we need to do, what can be done, and what great opportunities are out here for our Gear Up scholars. And I am so happy and I am so excited for hopefully this to happen again next semester. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us, and we will be leaving now. Have a great day.